Hello friends, welcome to the Star News channel. In this video I would like to send you the following content. The silent battle. I talked about everything about the panic attacks, the continuous dread, the fear something terrible was always just waiting around the corner. And much to my surprise, she didn't judge me. She didn't tell me to just calm down or get over it. Instead, she listened. She confirmed how I was feeling. That confirmation was the first step toward healing. A simple little thing, yet it meant the world to me. I wasn't broken, I wasn't crazy, I wasn't weak. I actually had something real going on that required attention. Therapy didn't fix me overnight, but it gave me the tools to begin to cope with my anxiety. I learned coping strategies, simple things like deep breathing, grounding exercises, and mindfulness that helped me stay grounded when the panic attacks hit. It didn't stop the anxiety from coming, but it helped me manage it, to take control when it threatened to overwhelm me. For the first time, I also started to understand the nature of my anxiety. I wasn't just worrying for no reason. My brain was responding to stress in ways that I hadn't realized. I started to see things, like patterns and triggers that I hadn't noticed before. I started to give myself permission to not be perfect, to not have everything under control. That was perhaps the hardest lesson of all. I had spent so many years trying to control everything, trying to be the person who had everything figured out, but that was never realistic. Anxiety feeds off of the illusion of control. The more I released this compulsion to control every single little thing, the more freedom I found. Over the following months, I began a steady improvement. I learned to be kinder to myself, to forgive myself for not having all the answers. I started taking better care of my mental health just as I did my physical health, working out more, eating healthier, and making time for things that kept me joyful. I reached out to friends when I needed support, something I never allowed myself to do before. Slowly but surely, I began to reclaim my life from the anxiety that had once consumed me. But the most important thing I learned was that anxiety doesn't define me. Yes, it's a part of me, but it's not all that I am. I am more than my anxiety. I am a person who has dreams, ambitions, and a future ahead. I am the type of person who is strong enough to overcome my fears, ask for help if I need it, and keep on moving no matter how rugged the road is. The answers elude me at this time, but I know I have the capability of finding them. And that, above all else, gives me hope. Today, I am still not cured. There are days when anxiety seems to be overwhelming, that I feel like I'm back to square one. By now I know how to handle it. I have the tools, support, and strength to see it through. I am not perfect, but I am real. I have come to understand that it's okay to ask for help. That it is okay not to have everything figured out in your head. I am no longer ashamed of my battles. I have found my voice, and it is mighty on the hardest days. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm winning the silent battle. I 7-9M, at the time, was walking from school to my house, and my house was less than 150 meters from my school, but I had to take the long way instead of the short way because apparently I was too young, so I took the long way. Zoned out, and Jay was passing my house when I looked past my house behind it and I saw a woman in white. So me thinking I'm seeing things and being young, I span around with my eyes closed 3 times, opened the garage using those car garage openers, and I opened my eyes, looked for the woman, and she was gone, so I screamed, ran in. That one time you swore you saw something weird but couldn't tell if it was a ghost or just your imagination working overtime is a quintessential childhood in one sentence moment. Alana shook Jeanette softly, pulling her from her sleep. Jeanette sat up in bed and wiped her eyes. She looked around the room. Daniel, Jeremy and Alexis were still asleep. The sun had risen and light was shining through the window curtain and door blinds. Jeanette looked at her nightstand clock and the time read 7:36 a.m. Alana's curly hair laid wildly across her head as her small hand kissed Jeanette's arm gently. "Yes, baby? What's wrong?" Jeanette asked, running her fingers through Alana's hair. "I'm hungry," she said softly. "Okay, let Mama go and find breakfast for everyone, okay?" she responded. Jeanette carefully got out of bed, stepping over Alexis and Jeremy. She paused before reaching the door as fear gripped her. She didn't want to go downstairs alone. She turned around and walked stealthily to Daniel's side of the bed and gently shook him awake. His eyes jumped open and he abruptly sat up in bed, startling her and Alana. His eyes still looked tired as he looked around the room in confusion. "Babe, are you okay?" Jeanette whispered, concerned. Yeah. Sorry, I was having a nightmare. I'm awake now," he replied, shaking his head and rubbing his face. "Can you come downstairs with me while I make breakfast, please? I don't want to go alone." "Yeah. Of course. Of course," Daniel replied, carefully getting out of the bed. Jeanette instructed Alana to stay in the room with her siblings until they came and got them. She was to stay in the bed unless she needed to use the master bathroom. She wasn't to touch the door or the windows. If anything happened, she needed to immediately wake her siblings. Alana confirmed and laid back down, holding Jeanette's pillow like a stuffed animal in her arms. Jeanette and Daniel peeked in on Sophia and Eric. Thank you for watching our videos. Subscribe to our channel to get notifications when we post newest videos. Thank you and goodbye.